Apple iPhone XR is still the best value in iPhone today. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. The iPhone XR, I think, is the best value still in iPhone today. Now, value is subjective, but when I say value, I mean probably the most iPhone you're gonna get for the money right now. Now, the iPhone 11 is out already, and it's pretty similar to this phone. Actually, if you hold these phones side by side and put a blindfold over your face, you wouldn't even know which is which. Now, I gotta say something too. Typically, Apple, when they bring the phone down in the line and they make a cheaper price, like after the new phone comes out, they typically get rid of the colors. But the iPhone XR still has all the same colors that you loved from last year. They're still available at the Apple Store. So if you're looking to get an iPhone XR, you can get any color that you wanted last year. And I personally prefer the colors on the XR over the 11, as I think they're more vibrant. This is not really a color. This is just a white model, but the colors on the XR just stood out a little bit more in my opinion. So I wanted this video to serve as my 1 year later experience with this phone, as a few people were asking me, hey Nick, can you give us your 1 year update on the iPhone XR? And that's what we're gonna do here. So beginning with the body, because Apple went ahead and made this phone basically identical to that of the iPhone 11, guess what that means? Well, that means that if you buy this phone right now, you're getting a XR with a very modern feel, a very nice quality body, and you're paying less money for it. So that equals value right there. Now, Apple's also accepting trade-ins on this phone. So if you trade in an older device, you can get a discount here still on the iPhone XR, albeit the phone that you had last year, if you didn't trade it in, it probably decreased in value, so you're not gonna get as much as a trade-in, but still, it's gonna be cheaper than it was last year. So yeah, the design, the body, aluminum edges, you could see right there, still decent material, classic silent switch right there. A clean back design with just a single camera. It does stick out a little bit more than the new iPhone 11, but it's not bad. At the bottom, you can see just iPhone clean logo, Apple logo right there. And then the front design, if you held it from the front, nobody would know if you're using an iPhone 11 or a XR. So still feeling very positive about this. So next up is display. This LCD has been proven to be a pretty good panel here for the iPhone XR. Now, a lot of people who absolutely love technology, love OLED, love the best displays on the market, never liked it, never will like this LCD, as there's better displays out there, but this is perfectly serviceable for the target customer for the iPhone XR. And iOS 13 brings the new kind of like 3D touch-like feature, haptic press. It has more features than it had when the iPhone XR first came out. When it first came out, you couldn't do things like this, so it felt a little bit crippled in that aspect, but not anymore. Text is plenty sharp. You're not really going to notice a big deal of difference between this and even an 11 Pro unless you're really looking closely. But I do like the OLEDs more. I still have to say that the XR for this money is a pretty good value because the software is really good. Now, when watching video, it's perfectly usable as well, but I will say one thing, that the notch does get in the way of video just a little bit. But you can go like this and you have the option to just have black bars here and watch it the way you would prefer to watch this video. I can say one thing about the XR that's not the best. You don't get to watch the highest quality video like on some other displays, but you probably have a TV, you probably have a laptop or something else that you watch your main amount of content on. But if you don't, if you just use your phone as the only way to watch videos, the XR might not be best for you, but it's still a serviceable display. Still, the display gets plenty bright, has decent contrast ratio for an LCD, and I think Apple did a great job of tuning it. Now, 1 year later with the software, iOS 13 has really taken the XR to another level. You have the dark mode now on here, which is huge. A lot of people were worried with the LCD, is the dark mode going to be functional? And I can tell you absolutely it works well. Just because you don't have OLED, it's still great to have a much darker screen at nighttime, whether it's OLED or LCD. So yes, the iOS 13.2's dark mode works awesome. In addition to that, all the other features that are included within this, as well as new enhancements to a lot of applications, Find My, screen time, tons of improvements here. You could use voice control on this phone now. iOS 13's file system is even better than before. Swipe texting. I mean, there is a lot. Memoji stickers. There's tons of stuff in iOS 13 that just took it up on the iPhone XR, and we don't need to discuss all of that right now. But 1 year later, the software still performs well, and it's still it's actually more feature packed than when the XR first came out. So great value here in the software. And that brings me on to the performance. We have an Apple A12 Bionic chipset, and I have this on my iPad. This performance on here is just ridiculous. Do you really need more performance than this? I mean, the 10R does not slow down no matter what you do. And this is one of the main reasons why I think it sold so well, is because you just can't get performance like this on other phones in this price range. Usually you get Snapdragon CPUs, which are really good, but the iPhone XR has a CPU that's built to last multiple years. And I think that it's really just ridiculous for the money, the kind of CPU you get in the XR. If you take advantage of it, really, you're having such an amazing performance. It's funny because I see a lot of teenagers with this phone and they don't realize how much power they have in their pocket. And it's pretty awesome that it's kind of like an everyone phone. They get all of this. They don't even have to know it. They just like the color and they have all this CPU power. It's pretty cool. The XR is kind of the everyone phone. And that brings me on to the battery life. This is the iPhone of last year that had the impressive battery life everybody's raving about this year. This already had it last year. So the XR is an absolute stunner value in the battery life. If you get one now, it's still gonna do excellent for you. So don't even sweat on the battery life. It's about the same as the iPhone 11. I'm not seeing major updates to that phone. The 11 Pro is a little bit better. The 11 Pro Max is a little bit better, but this phone still is easily getting you through a day. It may even go 2 days on a XR, even now, November 2019. Okay, guys, so what about audio performance right now? The thing about the iPhone XR is that you have dual speakers, and that is really great for the money once again.
Around the edges. Now on the rear, it's still a glass back, so yeah, you kind of get the same thing on the back of the iPhone 11 as the 10, but that aluminum is a downgrade.
So yes, very impressed though with the speakers. They're plenty loud for the XR. And really, I mean, do you see all this value you're getting for this phone? I've been explaining a lot of it in this video. And you can see that I'm still happy about this after 1 year later. Now, Face ID is also a great thing here for the XR. Some of the industry leading security on your iPhone right there, which is awesome. And that's a big thumbs up as well. And the next one is you can get plenty of storage on the XR, up to 256 gigabytes. So let's talk about that single camera lens on there. Pretty impressive for a single camera lens. Have you 4K 60p recording out of that tiny sensor, which is pretty awesome for the iPhone. If we go to camera, we can do record video at 4K 60. Super simple. You don't got to deal with extra lenses. You know exactly where to look. You know exactly what you have. You have one camera. It's as simple as can be. You go ahead and snap a photo. You swipe over to do a video. Now the settings aren't quite the same on here. You can't change your video settings right here like you could on the iPhone 11 just yet. That may come in a future update. The front-facing camera is not quite as good as the newer phones. Hey, how you doing? But the iPhone XR's front-facing camera is still fine. I think for most people are going to be using this phone. It's not really bad at all. It has a portrait camera on the front and the rear. It doesn't have object detection in that rear portrait camera. But I got to say, the iPhone XR, man, the camera here is plenty enough for the person buying this phone. Seriously. I mean, seriously, I could use this phone and run my entire YouTube channel and nobody would even notice the quality difference much on the iPhone XR as long as I took those videos on a stabilized tripod and I did 4K 60. Most people probably wouldn't even care about the quality. They would say it looks pretty good. The XR still at the top of the pack when it comes to cameras. It's not the best in the game, but it's up there. And phone call quality 1 year later. Not the best. Can't give it ups on this one. I've been super positive about this phone, but I can't give it ups there. I do like the gesture system though here for XR. It gives you a nice different feel if you're coming from an older home button iPhone. So yeah, not the best reception in LTE quality and all that. It's actually one of the worst of the newer iPhones. But when I say worst, I don't mean it's unusable. I just mean that there's phones with better LTE connectivity and better phone call quality. But you're probably on Wi-Fi a lot, and if you're in a major metropolitan area, you probably won't even notice this stuff. So that's it. The XR 1 year later. I'm going to just give you a couple of cons before we head out of here. We do have a little bit thicker bezels. It's not a really big deal. We're nitpicking here for the price of this phone. The iPhone XR is not an OLED, and I know there's Android phones with an OLED at this price point, but at the same time, they're not giving you software support this long. No extra lenses. It didn't seem to bother most people on the XR. So yeah, I mean, you kind of have a hard time finding problems with the XR because it's just not a problem-packed phone. And that's it. It's still one of the best iPhone values today. That's my 1 year later on this device. I'm extremely positive about it still. And I think if you have one, hold on until next year. It's still a solid device. Unless you know you can benefit from these cameras, maybe for your career, maybe for your job, maybe for just personal usage. You just want to get more artistic with the wide angle. If you don't need that on the iPhone 11, hold on to your XR, wait till next year when we see some major changes to iPhone, and then consider your upgrade. Thumbs up, the iPhone XR is still one of the best values in iPhone today. If you guys like this video, do me a favor, click the like button for me. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing for more content like this. I will catch you all in the very next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.